Humanity is undergoing a massive dimensional shift. We are ending an era where humanity was embedded into a reality anchored in the third dimension, a low, dense field of existence where control and manipulation was the guiding force, fueled by fear, dis-ease, suppression, and 3D interference. Over time, throughout many generations, humans have been modified to become a civilization operating under false pretenses, limiting beliefs, division, distraction, superficial needs, vanity, and ego. The 3D encourages people to compete, to indulge in unhealthy habits, addictions, and lifestyles, lacking in true connection, love, compassion, and self growth. It thrives through a network of programming that begins at birth and amplifies throughout our lives. We are taught to feed into the machine and not to go against any of the paradigms this lower vibrational system is built upon. At the turn of this century, there have been massive timeline shifts occurring, a war to keep humanity locked into this low grid of existence with a trajectory of ultimate control and complete loss of sovereignty. They do this through trickery and humanity's consent. Only most people are unaware that they are being tricked into consenting to a timeline of complete control. There are millions of souls that have come into the third dimension from higher dimensional planes of existence, from civilizations that are much more evolved, many that have been through their own ascensions. They volunteer to guide humanity in many ways. They are here to bring higher frequencies, new ideas, new thought patterns, and to break people out of negative loops. They are known as starseeds, and they are not better than the rest of us. They are just born into this world awake and aware, or they activate at some time in their life. They are the way showers, the leaders, the healers. They think differently. They question blind authority. They encourage others to think for themselves and not to consent to the programming. Starseeds are not all the same. They come from higher dimensions and come from all throughout the cosmos. They don't have easy lives. They sacrifice their well-being and their evolution momentarily to assist the collective. Over the past 20 years, humanity has begun a massive process of awakening and breaking free from programming, thus shifting the frequency of the 3D. As more people activate and awaken, the third dimensional structure begins to break down. The illusion of power begins to dissolve, and humanity begins to see the truth. This mass activation begins to pull humanity into a new timeline of a higher density of consciousness, anchored in truth, in honesty, in compassion, in connection and unity, and ultimate freedom. The process of humanity awakening and activating is not an easy task. People are asked to question all of their beliefs, their surroundings, even who they really are, and what they believe in. To do this, one must detach from the third dimension and go on a voyage of self-discovery. It's not an easy journey. It takes courage to go against the programming. Many have lost family and friends in the process. All that is occurring right now has ignited the third dimensional masters and wardens. They do not want us to be free. They fight us through increased 3D interference, fear tactics, even infiltrating the awakened communities throughout the world, causing mass confusion. People are desperate to find their tribe, to find their truth, all while being deceived at many turns. This creates timeline wars where players fight to keep the lesser timelines active and viable, while others fight for freedom and sovereignty, working tirelessly in their own way to hold space as bridges to an alternate timeline of a higher frequency. However, the higher timeline can only operate if the souls connected truly embrace their self-worth and inner knowing. They must command their power. This is done by trusting in oneself, being capable of standing alone, no longer blindly trusting anyone of influence, even well-intentioned mentors or spiritual leaders. True leaders encourage people through self-mastery and reflection. True leaders don't want followers. True leaders hold out their hand to lift people up and encourage them to stand on their own 2 feet. They don't hoard information, they don't glamorize their status, and they don't keep information from the collective. They are not the ones that can activate you. They are just facilitators. True leaders build a society of conscious, intuitive, and mindful people. We are seeing a narrative right now where the infiltrated spiritual leaders that are creating loops of attachment where people continue to not trust their own inner guidance. They have become reliant on these spiritual leaders, and these leaders tell them what to do and what to believe. Unfortunately, that is still 3D thinking and a limiting belief paradigm. Let's work together to enhance the higher timeline that leads to an era of unity and an even field of existence where we all play our roles, enhancing our strengths to co-create a new world. The choice is ours right now. Where we focus our attention and what we put our energy towards matters. What timeline you are tuning into directly affects the collective. If more people surrender, release judgment, release attachment, and connect to people for support and encouragement, especially those of positive influence, the better. Just remember who you are and that you hold the ultimate power. Don't give your power away to anyone. Stay focused on keeping your mind and body clear. Stand in integrity. Take breaks from AI. Take breaks from influencers, social media, and the mainstream narrative. Hold space in your mind for what you want the world to be and not what others say is coming. Nothing is definitive. The dark players know the only way that they can keep us in the third dimension is to hijack our minds, to create the lower timelines for them. They also know that we have the ultimate potential to break free and to ignite a timeline of prosperity, abundance, and freedom. The choice is ours.